Hi, my name is Daniela and I'm here with my Holiday Adventure-A-Thon wrap-up. So, the Holiday Adventure-A-Thon was a readathon created by Jasmine from Novel Thoughts. I will link the information below. For the Holiday Adventure-A-Thon, I read 5 books. I finished the Holiday Snowman Path and I completed all the challenges. The first book I read for the readathon was Trouble in Mind by Jeffrey Deaver, and I used this book for the read a book that you got as a present challenge, then for the Read on the Cover challenge, and also for the Cookies challenge, which was to eat festive food while reading a book. And I ate my homemade apple dessert with cinnamon and chocolate topping, and it was really good and delicious. So this book is a collection of suspense short stories. So the one I liked the most were those that featured an existing investigator or detective from his other books, like Catherine Dance or Lincoln Rhyme. And especially the one with Catherine Dance was my favorite. I haven't read any novel with Catherine Dance in it, but I really liked her, and the story was full of plot twists, and also there was interesting psychology stuff during the investigation, so I really enjoyed that. Some of the stories I gave 4 stars and some of them 3 stars, but even the ones I gave 3 stars to had really interesting premises and topics, and there was never a shortage of plot twists. So as a whole, I gave the book 4 stars. So next I read this book, which is called Oaxaca Maya and is written by Willem Meštík. The title means A Fairy Tale of May, and I used it for the challenge to read a book that your family member or a friend recommended to you. And my grandma recommended this to me, and I must say I quite enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars because I think it is really well written. The style is very lyrical. The romance was quite intense, and there were also very nice descriptions of the nature. So I enjoyed this book. I also read A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens for the challenge to read a book that is based on a holiday. Sadly, I didn't enjoy this very much. I can see why it is a classic and why so many people love it. The first thing was that I was trying to speed through it, and I think I would have maybe enjoyed it more if I studied it, because there were all these references and allusions which were explained in the back. But the fact is that it was hard for me to read and the descriptions were killing me. I haven't read any of his other books in full and in English, so maybe his writing is just not for me, but I'm not saying that I'm not willing to give him another chance, maybe in the future. In the end, I gave it 3 stars because I still think that the idea is nice and it was funny and witty at times. For the challenge to read a book with snow in the title, I chose Let It Snow, which is written by 3 authors. It is a collection of 3 short stories about Christmas. The first story is written by Maureen Johnson, and I enjoyed this story the best. I really like the main character Jubilee, and I like the romance as well as the plot. The second story was by John Green, and this was the least enjoyable for me. It was basically about teenage boys doing stupid and dangerous things, and that just isn't my thing. I know that the story could be really funny for some people, but I didn't like this type of humor, so it didn't work for me. And the last story was written by Lauren Miracle, and she had the advantage that she wrote the last story, because in the last story all of the characters got together and their stories connected, so she had a chance to write a conclusion to all of the stories, kind of. And I really enjoyed the ending. It was really heartwarming and Christmassy, but I didn't like the main character of the third story itself, because she was the type of person who would say, like, if you love me, you will completely change your personality and I will stay the same instead of doing some compromise. And I'm tired of that trope. I read this book mainly on my way to my parents' house where I spent Christmas, and I read this on the 23rd of December, which is actually the day before Christmas, because in the Czech Republic we celebrate Christmas mainly on the 24th of December. We have a big Christmas dinner, and then we opened our presents. And also my train was delayed 2 hours, so I got to go to a cafe at the train station and read this book while drinking hot chocolate and eating a blueberry muffin. So I had a really good time reading this book. I think I might reread this at Christmas chimes sometime in the future. And the last book I read for this readathon and for the challenge to read a historical fiction book was The Book Thief by Markus Zusak. And I read the majority of this book on 24th of December, which, as I said, is the main celebration day. This book was like art in the best possible way. It was devastating and uplifting at the same time somehow, and to be honest, it didn't destroy me and I didn't cry. I knew that this was a World War II story, so someone was very likely going to die. I was sad and happy and at the same time when I finished this book, because the ending was hopeful. So this book is narrated by the death, and that was one of my favorite elements of this book. At times it got philosophical and very quotable, and I really liked the angle or the perspective or even the personality that the author chose for the death. The writing style was beautiful, and he used a clever way of foreshadowing. I felt that this kind of foreshadowing actually served a purpose, so I would say that the foreshadowing was tastefully misleading because it hinted at what is going to happen, but then it happened to another person than you would expect, or it happened in another way. And not only for this reason, this was really a page-turner. And I finished it at 11:30 p.m. just in time to perfectly wrap up my holiday adventure-a-thon. I will be writing a Goodreads review with more perspectives and thoughts about this book, so if you're interested in my written reviews, feel free to add me on Goodreads. And these are all the books I read for the holiday adventure-a-thon. I really enjoyed this readathon, so thank you very much, Jasmine, for creating this amazing event. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!